welcome to our second class. The people play chess better, but their behavior is worse. You have to behave worse this class, because you were in the first class. So, okay, we'll flip the board in case Mike Hummer watches my lectures, which he doesn't. Okay, so yeah, as you all know, I played in a tournament yesterday. Did any of you play? Ocean played. Yeah. Okay, good. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
I beat the dude.
Yeah, don't push the pen. Okay, and we're going to look at either one or two games in each of my lectures today, and then we have a difficult puzzle. The puzzle wasn't too difficult in the first class. This one's it's serious now. Okay, this is if you're 1350 or under, so if you're at home and you're rated like 1351, then you're going to go away. Okay, so I played Sandeep, and Sandeep's a good a good player, because he brings two of his kids to the tournament. So we get 3 entries out of him. And also his kids go to the same school as my wife's kids do, so I see them all the time. Okay, now Sandeep likes to play for mate, and there's actually a funny, what's the word? Coincidence? That's not the word.
He plays D.
No talking. So what happened a week ago was Carlson played Elianov, and Carlson won. And he said, well, I like playing Elianov. Elianov's always going, rawr, he doesn't just play for a draw, right? Basically, if people over 2,700 have white and they want to draw, then they draw. But some of them want to win, then they lose. Okay? So, if you're playing for a win with white against Carlson or Kramnik or Wesley So, then you might lose. If you're playing for a draw, then you won't. So, they were like, how come you always beat Elianov? And he's like, Elianov's always trying to beat me, so I win. Okay. Now, Sandeep, he don't care who he's playing for the win. He doesn't say, oh, I'm playing a high-rated player. He just plays like Sandeep. Rawr! Therefore, occasionally, he beats very high-rated players and loses to very low-rated players, as you indicated. Yeah, right. Sandeep can lose to anybody. He can beat anybody. He just plays the same way. This game, he went too far. Okay? He played crazy, but it was crazy like Fox News, not crazy like a fox.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so first we started boring. Okay? You know, and we fell asleep. Now, for somebody who plays crazy, he plays a really passive move here. If I was Sandeep, I would probably play e4 on move 1 and play crazy. d4 and crazy is not as crazy as it should be. So he played one of the most passive moves here. And they're like, we're kids, we don't know what passive moves are. What did White play here? What's the most passive move?
Knight F3.
He already played Knight F3. Can't play it again.
E3?
Yeah, E3. Yeah, good job, Ocean. Okay, now he wants to play the Kali in, do I have any dog jokes? Yeah. I was pretty tired. I wasn't really feeling like playing. I was melancholy, so I was ready for him. None of the kids got that, and only one of the adults did. Okay, now when my opponent plays E3 early in any opening, I like to fianchetto my king bishop, so I did. I played G6. That's what fianchettoing is. Okay, and then he played bishop E2, another passive move. And yeah, we castled. Okay, so when I'm black and you play E3, I usually have this kind of position. Now the problem in this position, and with all queen pawn openings, is what to do with this bishop. Now actually, I don't have a problem here. I ain't got no problem. And normally when I'm playing chess, I don't have any idea what I want to do. I try to figure out what my opponent wants to do, and then I try to make it bad. I figured at some point my opponent would play c4. And maybe he would want to play e4, like in some Kalis, but not in this one. Because his bishop's on e2. Bishop was on d3, I probably wouldn't know which move he would play. But if bishop's on e2, I don't think he's going to play e4. Doesn't make any sense. Bishop on d3, he could play rook d1 and queen e2. I mean, you know, he's going to play e4. Okay, so if he plays c4, that means these pawns might get traded at some point. So I played the move b6. I like to fianchetto both my bishops. Rawr! Then my bishop gets good eventually. And if I move my bishop here, like a normal person, it probably gets traded off for this knight. Right? Why do I want to trade my bishop for his knight? So I played b6. He played b3, and we fianchettoed, and I played here. And you might say, wow, this is boring, I want my money back. Too late, okay? But there's actually a big difference in this position which makes it less boring. It's almost symmetrical, almost. Almost. Difference is, my bishop's fianchettoed, and his bishop's on e2. So if he somehow put this pawn back here, and put this pawn here, and put his bishop over here, that would be the same position. We'd have the same position. I prefer having my bishop on the diagonal opposing his bishop rather than this bishop doing nothing. So I think I like black's position here. Even though it's symmetrical and I'm black, I still prefer black's position. Okay, this position has occurred very rarely at the top level, and there's a reason for that. Now, if we get into math, and none of you are good at math, small Asian kids always bad at math, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so if we get into math, which I don't like to do because it confuses the audience, everything is the same. So when the computer says you're up 0.1 or 0.2, that's nothing to sneeze at. 0.2 is getting pretty good. When you're up a piece, you're winning. When you're up 2 pawns, you're winning. You know, for nothing. Which, by the way, remember that 2 pawns for nothing. You're going to see it in a second. If you're not at material and it's boring like this, that means if we play perfect, it's a draw. So as far as math is concerned, this position is a draw. We play perfect. And if we look at any opening that has a name, like the Rui Lopez, the Joko Piano, the Rady opening, the Sicilian, the French defense, the Caro-Kann, if it has a name and grandmasters play it, it's a draw. That means if both sides play perfect, it's a draw. Openings that lose by force, which exist, the grandmasters don't play those. So this begs the question, which is confusing, if this is a draw, which it is, there's no question this position should be a draw if we both play perfect. And so are other openings. How come grandmasters don't play this? Good question. Thanks for asking. The reason is black has no issues. Black can do whatever he wants in draw. When you have the white pieces and you're one of the best players in the world, you want to put pressure on your opponent so they make a lot of mistakes. That's not something you guys are good at. You guys like to play for tricks. You guys like to play sneaky. You guys like to get a time advantage. You guys like to hit the clock really hard. Okay? In chess, they laughed at that one. They were like, In chess, if the position is equal because the computer says it's a draw, that doesn't mean it's equal for you. Let me give you an example. Okay? You have an ending where you can't ever win. You have a 0% chance of winning. But if you play really well, you'll draw. Okay? The computer says equal, because it's a draw. Well, you're always going to take the other side, because your side can never win, and their side might win. So you would never take your side, you would take the other side. Then you would win sometimes and draw sometimes. A computer doesn't care, it says equal, I don't care. So in chess, when it says equal on your engine, that could mean every move is equal, it doesn't matter what color you have, or it could mean the reason it's equal is because it finds perfect play for this one guy and he can draw. If he doesn't play perfect, he gets crushed. Well, you don't want to be that guy, you want to be the other guy who's hoping your opponent makes a mistake. That's why grandmasters don't play these positions. There's no advantage. I don't have to play well and I'll still draw. Okay, it's not like, oh, white's better, black better play good moves. It's the same. I don't care if I'm white or black here against anybody. So grandmasters don't like positions where their opponent has no trouble. They want positions that are super complicated, then their opponent makes a mistake and they crush them. Those positions are also equal, but for a human, it's not equal. The human's like, oh man, this is hard. Where's my computer? Okay? Right. So that's why even though your Sicilian is equal, and your French is equal, and this is equal, and grandmasters don't play this. They play the other ones. Because in the French and Sicilian, and Caro-Kann, and Semi-Slav, and King's Indian, and Grunfeld, there's a lot of winning and losing. And this is too boring. So if I'm playing Magnus Carlsen, he's pretty mad now. He's like, Ben Finegold, he's not going to blunder here. It's going to be a boring game. I have to beat Ben Finegold, I'm white. So he's not going to play this. He'll play interesting and he'll crush me. Okay? And in fact, that's what Magnus did in the Isle of Man tournament, which he just won today. Now you guys are like, Magnus Carlsen, yay! Then you're like, his picture's in the wall in that room. It is, right next to mine. Okay? And the reason Magnus won this tournament was he said, man, I'm playing Rufus and Doofus every round. I can't draw every game. So he played crazy in the opening with black, getting bad positions, then he would win. Then with white, he'd play normal and win because he's white. So Magnus had 6 wins and 3 draws. How many losses?
0.
0. Anand, or Anand if you want to pronounce it right, which you don't, he draws every game, he don't care. He just hates losing. Anand, who won today, he had 5 wins and 4 draws, so he got half a point less. So he came in second with Nakamura. Nakamura plays crazy, so he wins a lot of games against people like me. Okay, so this is too boring for a super grandmaster, so there's no super grandmaster games. It's too easy. Okay, and for somebody who plays wild and crazy like Sandeep, this is a very strange opening choice. However, we'll get to the wild and crazy in a second. Then you're going to see wild and crazy. Okay, now, a lot of my students, and even some fellow grandmasters, they don't like playing weak players and having boring positions. They're like, that guy's no good and he drew me. I got to get crazy positions so they can't draw. I don't believe in that philosophy. I believe my opponent's going to make 10 blunders. I don't care how boring it is. Okay, and then my opponent show me that I'm right. Okay, so my opponent played rook c1, which is a weird move. What's white's next move going to be?
C4.
Right, was there something wrong with c4 now? c4 is protected 4,000 times. So rook c1, there's no reason for that, but it's okay. Okay, c5, and he played knight e5. Probably c4 is the right move. Okay, now, the problem you guys have in chess, and I said at the last class, so you were here, you listened, is that whenever somebody makes a move, you guys stare at that move. And you're like, knight e5. Ah, knight e5. Okay? And then maybe you'll take the knight. There's nothing wrong with taking the knight. Okay? The knight's good on e5, and my pieces are all good. Okay? Which one of my pieces of these 3 you think should start getting out of here?
Rook.
Yeah, which one?
Rook on F.
I should go here, that'll show him. I could. Yeah, I played rook c8. Yeah. And the reason is I want my rook in the open line too. I don't want to be over here in the corner. Okay. And also there could be some tricks. My bishop is protecting these 2 squares. So who knows if there's tricks happening. I don't know. Now there's no tricks happening. Okay. And he played f4 because he can't help himself. He has to play crazy and attack me. I mean, there's nothing to attack. I mean, I'm developed all my pieces. Okay. So I know Sandeep, and he's going to keep pushing on the king side, even though it's not justified because we could have an open center here. Also, what does rook c1 have to do with, like pushing on the king side? Why do you play rook c1? Doesn't play c4. Now if he plays c4 after f4, he's opening up the center when he's trying to mate me. You shouldn't do that. Okay, if the center's closed and nobody can do anything, then you can mate them. Not if it's open. Okay, so I played the obvious move to open the center.
E6.
That opens the center. I think the computer actually likes e6 more than my move. Yeah, I took there. And now he surprised me, but I'm only me. I'm not all of you. There's 5 of you. There's only 1 of me.
Huh.
So we're going to vote. We vote every class. I was surprised. Maybe you guys will play. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So obviously he could take either way. I expected one way. He took the other way.
The bishop take.
Okay. Now, which way would you take? Let's vote.
Bishop.
Bishop. And you said you were 100. Yeah. He passed. Right. He took with the bishop, which I was shocked. But they all took with the bishop. I guess I'm higher rated than all of you. And him. And if you add them up, I'm higher rated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. Okay. See, I told you the Asian kid not good at math. He's like, yeah, you are higher rated than the 4 or 5 of us. No.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's funnier, me or you guys? Close. I know who's funnier looking. Probably not them. Let's turn the kibitzer on and see who's crazy. Okay, which move is better, taking with the pawn or the bishop?
Pawn. Yeah, pawn's better.
Yeah, if that doesn't even take with the bishop and plays knight takes d7 first. Yeah. So I expected pawn takes. The computer says pawn takes. My opponent, all of you, play bishop takes. Now we know who's teaching the class and who's confused. Okay. Taking with the bishop doesn't make a lot of sense for the following reasons. You're giving this square away. Yay, knight c5. Oh man, look at my knight. I'm the greatest. And this pawn's backward and weak. So we take with the bishop, that pawn's not so good. Okay? When you take with the pawn, you have a half open line, your pawn is defending c5, and when you take with the bishop, which he did, this knight's not defended as much. And you don't control e5, so I can play f6, e5, which I tried to do, but he stopped me. I tried to play f6 and then e5. Rawr. Okay, so now, since I told you that bishop takes d4 gives away c5, what move did I play?
Knight c5.
Yeah, I couldn't play that. Well, I could, but I'd lose my knight. Yeah. Okay, now when you see this pawn structure, right?
What?
There was a pawn there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then I think of this square. That square is not going to be defended by him anymore. He's not going to move his pawn backwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh boy, I got all my pieces ready to go to e4. I'm the best. Okay.
Or not.
Now he did it again, Britney Spears style.
Oh.
g4.
Oh.
Now I know he's going to play crazy because I know him, and I still was surprised. Okay? He's not mating me, he's just opening his king.
Yeah.
There's crazy, then there's like too crazy.
Pawn's from.
Okay, the center's open. My rook's on the open line. I got e4 for my knights. I can play f6 and e5 and kick his knight out. Okay, so I played knight e4. I told you I was going to do that. And then I'm going to play f6 and e5. And then my knight's on e4 forever. I'm the best.
Or not.
Okay,
Or not.
so he played knight to d3. He was hoping to get rid of my Finegold bishop, and then he could mate me. And then, if he takes back with the pawn, if I trade, then he kicks my knight out. Okay, now, one of the reasons I played rook c8, which I did a few moves ago, was to control the c file. I thought he would play c4, but I was wrong.
Again.
Okay, now,
And
this is something you guys never do because you never think of it. And it's called having an outpost. You want to put your pieces in your opponent's territory and they can't kick you out, which I did, knight e4. He thought he had an outpost, but I was going to kick him out, so he just left. He's like, all right, I guess I can't stay on e5. Now I have another place I can go in his territory, which a pawn can't defend.
Knight c3.
Yeah, so I'll play knight c3. Maybe I'll take his queen next move. The computer actually takes this knight and says black has a big advantage because I have all the dark squares and the white squares. Okay, and I have two bishops. But he played queen e1. And now I made the only move of the game the computer said I don't like that move. You have to, if I made all the computer moves, they would accuse me of cheating. Now I don't get accused. Yeah. Well, if I made all computer moves, you'd think I was cheating. If I make a move like this, they'd be like, okay, he's innocent.
Maybe. I don't want to play.
Okay, so in this position, since I'm a grandmaster, I like bishops. It's not my fault.
Wait, isn't there a pawn here?
Yeah, I didn't even see that. Also, no. It's funny, during the game, I never saw this move was legal. And when I turn the engine on, it doesn't think that move's, it doesn't suggest that move. Then when I was, don't do that. Then when I was analyzing the game, I was like, oh, I could take that pawn. Although he would just play rook a1 and take my pawn. So that doesn't, it's not very helpful. Okay, but I like bishops. And I especially like bishops when my opponent's center pawns are on dark squares. I like taking the white squared bishop. Then I have white squares and he doesn't. Now, my move's not a terrible move, but the computer doesn't like it as much as other moves. So I took his bishop, and he took back. Okay, I like the two bishops. I have two bishops.
Yay.
Okay, and I told you earlier I wanted to play f6 and e5. So I played.
f6 and e5.
Yeah, if I don't play f6, we'll trade the bishops. Okay, now, he doesn't want me to play e5. Well, I don't blame him. So he played g5, and the idea is if I play e5, I lose all my pawns. I gotta watch it over here. I'm not defended sufficiently. Okay. Now this is something again that I'm good at and you guys are confused. But after class, you'll be good and I'll be confused, I'll get older. You guys are getting better at chess, I'm just getting older. When people play chess and they make a move, normally you guys just stare at that move. And then you just play based on that. I don't see a threat for white. He stopped e5 because e5 I think I lose all my pawns. So I want to do some other stuff. for example, I want to play e5. And he has 3 pieces that are stopping e5. Right? And also, he can take this pawn on f6, which gets rid of one of my defenders. So I activated one of my pieces and stopped one of his pieces from defending e5. I played.
Rook E8.
Rook e8's not a bad move. I like rook e8. But I stopped one of his pieces from defending e5.
Knight takes D3.
That's the piece that I stopped. I just didn't
F takes
think of it.
G5. What?
Now you're stopping the f pawn from defending e5. Guy's tricky. Nobody plays my move.
You kicked the queen? Or?
No, I pinned his knight on d3.
Oh. Oh, you play bishop A6.
I did, yeah.
Smart.
That'll show him. I like to attack pieces a lot. Yeah. Now if I play e5, I might win a piece. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might not like that. Yeah.
He might.
He might not. Okay, now he made the losing move. Let's see what the engine says. It prefers black, right? By quite a bit. Right?
Almost a point.
Yeah, like quite a bit. Okay, now after this move, it ain't no quite a bit, it's just winning. So this next move loses for sure. And again, this is like the kind of move that like reacts to my move.
H4.
So let's look at the computer moves. Okay, bishop takes c5, g takes f6. Sort of adoring my bishop. My opponent, he saw my bishop went to a6. So he's like, bishop's on a6. Gotta do something about it. Rawr! So he played the most explosive move on the board.
C4.
Right. That move just loses immediately. That's just terrible. And here's why it's terrible. It doesn't lose because I'm the sneakiest. It loses because I just play the most boring moves and win. Okay? So when you calculate variations, you have to calculate captures first and checks. I don't have any checks.
So captures.
And just by capturing, I win the game. Yeah, I don't have to do anything. So I captured his knight. Obviously, he takes back. I captured his pawn, and now he's super pinned. So, like, I mean, if I play e5, that ain't good, right? You see, so
He's lost.
his knight was attacked twice, and he undefended it with c4, and now he's really pinned. There's lots of pins going on. Everything's pinned, right? Yeah, so c4 was really bad. Okay, and now in this position, again, if I play e5, he can take on f6. And then it's sort of tricky. I'm an old man, I'm confused. So I just took on g5. And I know if he takes on g5, then I know e5 is good. I know I'm good. Yeah.
Bishop
So,
takes.
bishop takes, loses the queen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pin. Remember the pin I was telling you about? Yeah, that's why this is advanced class. Okay, so here, I was expecting him to get out of the most important pin, which is the bishop pin. The knight pin I can't really do anything about, it's just annoying. So I thought he would play queen e4. And then I'm up a pawn and I have 2 bishops. And the computer says I'm up a pawn with 2 bishops. That's what I expected. Instead, he gave more material away.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I started taking everything.
Donation.
I don't remember what he did here. What did he do?
B4. E4.
What did he do?
G. Resign.
Oh, I know what he did. He, like, queen e4 breaks the pin. So he broke the pin, but made a threat, because he's always playing aggressive. So he played queen c3.
Smart.
Now he's threatening my bishop. Now, this pawn's attacked a lot, you agree. And it's defended a lot. But which white pawn is overworked?
The E pawn.
Yeah, it's defending 2 things.
To take the bishop.
Yeah. So if he played queen e4, his queen would be defending his f-pawn, but he doesn't think about defending. So yeah, I take and now I win all his pawns. It doesn't matter which way he takes, he traded queens, which is fine. The computer actually wants me to take with the rook, but it says everything wins. I took with the pawn.
Everything wins.
I mean, I'm up 2 pawns, yeah. So his f4, g4, g5, and then I took them. Okay, and I like to make this analogy a lot in class. You know, you're at war with some country, usually I say Canada, right? And you're like, I'm gonna show those Canadians, so you go to Canada. Well, you're not doing nothing here, are you? So if we're at war with Canada and you're sitting in my classroom here, they're not too afraid of you. you're sitting here. If you go there, they're like, oh no, an American. Then you might get hit with a broomstick or a hockey, you know. Okay, if you go to Canada, you could get injured. Probably not, but you could. So if you want to meet somebody in chess and you go like this, they might just take all that stuff. If you don't, then they won't, because you didn't move it all up in their grill. So when he moved all of his pieces and pawns in my territory, I took them. Thank you. Okay, and did he ever even check my king?
No.
And now his king has nothing in front of it. Now, this is also confusing because
He has a plan.
a lot of people, when they go into the chess game, they have a plan. My plan is to win. Your plan might be, I want to sack all my pieces, I want to queen a pawn. I don't know what I want to do until the game is going on. And when the game was going on, when my opponent pushed all of his pawns, I decided I wanted to take them, because they were like next to me. So I did. Okay? And he decided he wanted to mate me from a very passive position. He played bishop e2, rook c1, then he went rawr, f4, g4, g5. And then I'm like, what? You can't just do that. So when you mate somebody, they should deserve to be mated. Like you have 4 pieces attacking them, and their pieces are on the queen side. Then okay, they got mated. I understand that. But he tried to mate me, and his pieces weren't as active as mine, and I had the e4 square for my knight. And then he was doing the Knights tour. Look at this Knights tour he did. Okay, what was that all about? Then he played rook c1 and left this pawn here for 20 moves. Okay, so he made some tactical errors, and instead of me rebuffing the attack, I just took all of his pawns. He played rook e1. I took his knight, which the computer doesn't do, but I like taking things. And then I defended my pawn. Now normally, I would play king f7 without thinking, because I defend my pawn and you move your king up in the endgame. But my rook is defending my pawn. If I play king f7, it's not. So I played rook c7. Now this is defended, and since these are weak pawns, they're hanging pawns, that's what they're called. Maybe I can go here next move. Ooh. I'm better than I thought. And I don't have to worry ever that his rook goes to the 7th rank. His rook goes to the 7th rank, I'll take it. Okay, so he played c5. I like to take all of his things.
Oh, sweet.
And now without thinking, I played
King f7?
yeah, king f7. Because if I have to, I can defend with the g-pawn. Yeah. I have to move my king up in the ending. Otherwise my students won't believe me. Okay. He played rook c1. Now here, I would like to play e5 because Capablanca said so.
Oh.
What Capablanca rule am I referring to?
The dark square?
The dark squares. What? No.
Plus one must be pushed.
In the endgame, okay, that's good. That's not Capablanca, but that's good. Don't do that. Capablanca said in an endgame, you advance your majority. There's a king side, don't do that. And there's a queen side. On the queen side, he has more pawns than I do. On the king side, I have more pawns. So I want to push all my king side pawns. Give me a second. I push all my pawns. But okay, e5, he takes it. So, but now at e5, he doesn't take it. So e5. Yeah. I'm not really worried about his pawn because I go here and that's, my worries are over. Okay. And we move our kings up because I said so. And I go win his pawn, move my king up, push my majority, push my majority, push my majority, move my king up. That's all I do. Yum, 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 chomp, chomp. And actually, I'm doing 4 lectures today, and this is the only lecture where you get to see checkmate.
Oh.
Some people resign, some don't. I tell my students, don't resign. Then when you get to 2000 and you're pretty good at chess, you can usually make a good decision. But if you're playing Rufus and Doofus, I wouldn't resign against them. Because they're, you know, they stalemate you, they blunder. Okay. So Sandeep doesn't resign, so he doesn't resign. That's fine. Okay. And then I like to make a lot of queens. Work on the 7th. Okay. Now you all, like I have no interest in his A-pawn, because I'm winning over there. Okay. So I'd like to checkmate my opponent. Now this took a long time. It took me 2 moves to checkmate him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, what did I do?
I see how it is. King e3?
Yeah, I played king e3 check. Good move.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the first class. Yeah. we're gonna ship you to St. Louis. I have a class you wanna go to. It's called the 1 o'clock class. Dun, dun, dun. I hope Karen can put some music there for the 1 o'clock class.
G2?
Every move wins immediately, except King E3. That was, yeah. G2's
Great
fine.
job.
I played the move you would play.
F2. Oh, G2? F2.
No, I play here. Yeah, I threatened mate and won. And then he played here, so I mated him. Yeah. You know what the defense to mate is? It's King G1. That's not a good defense, is it? Allowing F2 check.
Wait, couldn't you have ran away or?
Ran away? What?
With this king? No.
Ran away with his king. Man, you like to move your king illegally a lot. No, I mean, he can go check. You know, I don't know. Well, the computer will announce mate, right? Yeah, it's mate. Yeah, mate and 4. Yeah.
Mate and 3.
Yeah, well, if he plays wrong. Anyway, every move wins, but I play for mate. I don't care about winning his rook or queening. I want to mate him. And then I mated him. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, he knew that if he played King G1, this would be in my favor. So he didn't like that, right? Then after here, I'm assuming King F3 is the best move. Because he has an A pawn. That means I won't stalemate him. Let's see if I'm right. That's why I get paid the big bucks. You all would play King F3, right? You still wouldn't play King F3, even after I told you. Still wouldn't do it. Right, because I'm trying to mate him. So when you're winning, mating your opponent is good. You guys are like, what about taking his rook? And you were here. You. Remember?
I'd have played H2.
No.
And took the rook.
No, the first class, I said mate, and this kid goes, wait a minute, you could win a rook and a queen.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I made him. He's like, but you could have won a rook. And I was like, isn't mate better? And he was like, okay, maybe. But why didn't you win the rook? And I was like, what? I was like, what? What's going on here? Right. So when I'm winning, even you know I'm winning, then I figure I'll mate him. You guys are like, wait, you could win a rook and you could queen. That's good, but mating him's better. Okay. So that game, again, like the first lesson I gave, let's see what he did wrong. In this position, I think F4 is okay. First mistake was taking with the bishop. G4 is definitely a mistake. If I turn the engine, it's not even a legal move. I can't even make it play G4. So this computer says it prefers black, but it still should be a draw, but it'd rather have black. Then when I play G4, then it's like, wait a minute, G4, now it really prefers black, right? Okay, that's a really bad move. And then in this position, here, where I'm like close to winning, he plays C4 and now I'm winning. C4 was explosive. Now, when I teach chess, I try to teach. You guys are kids, so you want to win. So you like, take your shirts off and start screaming. And then throwing things at your opponent, okay? When I play chess, I minimize the mistakes I make. You could say, well, I don't like the way you played that game. You played a lot of, strategically incorrect moves. That's what the kids like to say to me. That may be true, but I didn't hang anything. I didn't say, here's a rook, here's a bishop, here's a queen, like you guys do every game. I didn't say, oh, I lost a pawn with check, darn. I don't do any of that. I don't lose material, and when you lose material, I take all of it. And then every game I want material. So I win. And then if you don't give material away for 60 moves, probably you're cheating. I've seen you guys play. You don't play 60 moves without giving them material, right? So a lot of games, I'm playing somebody rate 1800, 1900, it's move 40, and it looks equal. And you're like, why isn't that grandmaster beating that A player? And then 10 moves later, you're like, oh, now that grandmaster's beating that A player, right? So in my games, I don't do anything, and my opponents give all their pieces away and I win. And then when I play other grandmasters, we draw, okay? Or somebody wins in 70 moves, okay? When you guys play, it's like I hung a piece, then he hung a piece, and then I hung a piece, then he hung a piece, then I won. And I'm like, what? Why are you hanging pieces? So my opponent was very insistent on pushing all the pawns in front of his king, and then I took them. Yeah. And I didn't really do anything. My pieces are just randomly placed. They're all right. But I didn't push all my pawns. I have a rule for my advanced students, never move pawns. Yeah. The look of horror in his face was funny, actually. Okay, because if you move your pawns, then the other guy takes them. And if you move your pawns, you can't protect those squares anymore. So when he moved his D and his F pawns, he could never protect that square. Never. He can move his pawn back, he can't get his pawn back and move it back. So that means I can play knight e4, and the other knight to e4, and my bishop to e4, and my pawn to e4, and I did. And he can't do anything. He puts his knight in my position, I'm like, get out. And he's like, all right, sorry. Okay? So when you move pawns, you create weaknesses. That's what weaknesses are, and I take advantage. And the reason I took all of his pawns was he moved all of them. So I took them. Okay? When you move into your opponent's territory, just like when you go to Canada to attack, they can get you. I'm more dangerous than Canada. I'm from Detroit. So when you attack me, I'm going to get you. If you attack Canada, you probably win. You know? You play hockey before, you got him, right? Okay. All right. So that was my game with Sandeep. He's rated, I don't know, 1,600 maybe, 1,500, something. Hey, something. His rating fluctuates a lot because he'll have a bad turn. He lost 60 points.
Oh.
But he might win 60 points his next tournament. I don't know. Right, you guys with your ratings, all of you. I can't lose 60 points. If I lost to all of you, I would lose 60 points. But I can't gain any points. Like, I won all my games, right?
Yeah, and you got...
I gained 0. 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was more than I expected. Yeah.
Well, you thought you'd lose points or?
Yeah, I'm kidding, but I'm almost not kidding. Yeah. I can't gain any points. I gotta beat like 2,300s and I get a point. Yay.
1 point?
Right, yeah. If I beat 2,300, I'll get 1 or 2
Good
points.
for you.
Right.
Sad.
If I draw, then I lose a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I gotta win.
Good for
Now,
you.
you heard of Georgia because you live there. I've been playing here for about 17 months in the state of Georgia. No tournaments, and I've lost 1 game. You know who I lost to?
Magnus?
Ooh, Magnus, good answer. Yeah, Magnus Carlsen plays in Georgia a lot.
Oh.
Frank Johnson?
Frank Johnson, that's worse than his answer. His answer is funny. Your answer insinuates I could lose to Frank Johnson.
The only one from Georgia I know that might be.
Frank Johnson's rated like 2,050.
Me?
If I lost to Frank Johnson, you would have heard about the New York Times. Okay, I lost to Gadakomsky. Has anybody heard of him?
No. Wait,
None of the kids heard of
wait,
Gadakomsky?
he was in Alabama, right?
U.S. Open champ?
Even your answer is silly. You meant U.S. champion, not U.S. Open champion.
Yes.
Yeah, 4 times. No, Gadakomsky played for the World Championship with Karpov. Not from Alabama.
Good job.
Gadakomsky was top 10 in the world for like 15 years. Yeah, now he's old, so he's top 15 in the country.
Good for
The
him.
truth hurts. Anyway, he used to be 2,700 FIDE and 2,850 USCF. Now he's not. But he still beat me. He had the white pieces. What do you want me to do? Okay, I drew him once. Yay. Before you were born. Well, before all 3 you were born. Not you. Okay, so I don't lose that often, but when I do, how's that commercial go? All right, well, I get sued, so. All right, now, in the last class, we took about 5 minutes on the puzzle. This one we're gonna take forever because this one's hard. And actually, I got 3 of them. This is the easiest. This is the toughest, this is second. And this is I should give you this one.
Hardest one.
The hardest one, that doesn't make any sense.
Easiest one. Hardest one.
We'll do the easiest one. We'll do the easiest one. Yeah. When I say it's the easiest one, you can't solve it.
Oh, it's pretty easy.
So you guys should be, hold on. This is the easiest of the 3, and you're going all 3. So you, Ocean. So you can agree. You're gonna see the other 2 later. You're going all my classes.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll see like, yeah, that was the easiest. And they're gonna be like, that was too hard and be really mad. Then you'll be like, no, that was the easiest in a few hours. You'll be able to tell them. Right. Okay, white mates in 3. Now, this is the kind of puzzle that's really hard for you, but not for me, because you think about chess differently than I do. You guys are like, check, no, I give up. That's the way you guys look at chess. Okay, I look at chess in a different way than you, because I'm old. Okay, and by giving you 1 hint, you have a chance. I give you 1 hint. Okay, black is perfectly set up for getting stalemated, right? Perfect. He can't move this, he can't move this. So if his queen was off the board, it'd be stalemate. And if white wants to play mate or mate, those are mate, the queen's perfectly set up to stop them both. You agree? Right. I wonder what would happen if it was black's move. Interesting. Okay, so Black is perfectly set to get stalemate and to stop checkmate. No, it's too hard. It's still too hard. By the way, I want to point out, this is the easiest one.
King D2?
Okay, now this is a mate in 3. Okay, now the problem is, if it was black to move in this position, if black has a really good move, very hard to find. So let's pretend it's black to move. Let's pretend. What would you do? Remember, you got, these are my 2 threats. So when you move your queen, I'm going to go to one of them. If you see what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying?
You have to fork both of the rooks, right?
But how?
What?
No, but then you can
English?
save. You can save both.
Say a chess move.
F5.
Or say a legal chess move. Not a random chess. F5. What? Black has a really good move here that's hard to find. You have to stop both checkmates. You're stopping both checkmates now, but you have to move.
King G8.
You're making an illegal move to stop mate. What? That's not going to do it.
Queen F4?
Queen F4. Yeah. So if it was black's turn, he would play Queen F4. You can't take the queen as a stalemate. And I stopped Rook F8 and Rook H2. And now my queen's going to check you. There's no mate in 3 there. It's mate in 3. So you can't just make a boring move because Queen F4 is going to be a good move. So what can white do about this?
Check. No.
Remember, it's mate in 3. It says so, mate in 3. And remember, this is the easiest. I could have shown you tougher ones. And I'm giving you a lot of hints. It's still too hard.
King B2.
If you play King B2 and I play Queen F4, you're not going to mate me in 3. And if I play Queen E5 check and you take my queen and I play King G7, I don't think you're going to mate me in 2. I got a lot of squares. But yeah, Queen F4 is always the move. That's always the good move. See, finding your opponent's defense, which I have to insist you find, you won't do it on your own. It's every move of every game you play. Find your opponent's best move and don't let him do it.
Rook 7 to E2. I mean E3.
Rook where? Rook E3? But then I play King G7 and I escape.
Oh.
I mean, your rook on E7 is killing me. You're killing me, Jerry.
Who's Jerry?
I don't know. Killing me.
Who's Jerry?
I mean, there's 2 famous Jerrys. There's Seinfeld, obviously. And then there's the Rick and Morty Jerry. Right? No, nothing. No Rick and Morty? Nothing? Terrible audience. Yeah.
Can you go rook on F2 to F7?
You could.
Aye.
I'm trying to figure out what to do against that.
That's also
Okay, so you're threatening Rook H7 mate.
Right.
So I was thinking here. I think I did a good job.
I don't know, because then it's just
Well,
H7 check.
it's a mate in 3 problem.
Oh,
Well, now you're not winning. Now it's a draw.
yeah,
It's check and then draw.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not really.
Remember, this is the easiest of the problems I could have shown you. I was like, that's too easy.
Why is it called tough though?
The other ones were called like impossible. This is called tough.
Oh.
Well, there's an easy mate in 2.
Yeah, that was last class. What do you think of that problem compared to this one?
it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Mm.
At home, they like got their engines on and they know the answer. They're like, oh boy, I know. What?
Rook F5?
Rook F5. What's the threat?
Rook over checkmate?
Rook here checkmate? That's pretty good. I only see one defense, but maybe I'm wrong. Actually, oh no, my second defense doesn't work. It's pretty funny though. Yeah, I don't see how you win against this.
Queen F1.
I stopped mate. I'm good.
Wow. Brilliant.
Then if you take, I go here and you gotta mate me in 1. Good luck.
Mm.
I don't think you can mate me in 1. You can't check me and defend this square. It's not possible. You can't play Rook G6, so.
Make a queen appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not chess.
I like that this was the easiest problem of the 3. Yeah, that's harsh. I'm
Make
so
an
mean.
illegal move and make your opponent.
Now, let me explain the difference between me and you, and why I got to grandmaster and you guys are quitting chess by next year. Because when I was getting better at chess and learning and studying. If I had a puzzle like this, I would sit there until I solved it. I didn't care how long it took me. Okay, now you know Archer, right?
Yeah.
If Archer doesn't solve it in like 10 seconds, he leaves. He's like, well, I didn't solve it. And I'm like, I would look like an hour and a half. I would just stare at it for an hour and a half till I solved it.
How about a year?
Yeah, if I couldn't solve it, yeah. You look at it until you solve it. I wouldn't have anybody give me hints. I wouldn't have anybody say nothing. I just sit there until I solve it.
Turn my page.
I'll give you one more hint. It's too hard for you.
Bishop C2.
If I move my rook, see the rook can give mate here. You agree. My rook could also give mate here or here. So for example, if I go here, and now you got to stop both of these mates, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you do that? How does black stop both of those mates? I know what I would do.
Oh, queen c7.
Queen c7, yeah. You can't take the queen either way because it's stalemate. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bishop.
Yeah.
So it's not same.
You have a move where black can't do anything against it. So you're threatening mates, but there's no defense.
Rook F to E2. Or?
Rook F to E2. Well, you're not threatening rook F8 mate then. You're not threatening any mate. With your rook here, you can't go to the back rank. That means that's your only mate, so my queen can go anywhere. What's the answer to rook D2? How do we stop these mates?
Queen C7. No.
Queen d6.
Queen D6. Yeah.
All these still.
Man, I tell you guys the answer, you still don't get it. I gave you so many hints. What's that?
Rook A2.
Rook A2. Oh. Yeah, now stopping this mate and this mate, that's tough. That's hard.
Oh, because they're not on the same square.
Yeah, you can't move your queen anywhere where you're defending them both, except where you are right now, which it's your turn.
Zaxxon.
He's in zugzwang. He can't move. B8's the only square that defends A8 and H2. So wherever you move your queen, I either go to A8 or H2. I don't care which way you move your queen.
Check.
Makes it easy, right? No? Still confused. He said the right move and he's confused. He's like, I said rook A2, but I don't get it. Yeah. So now, I'm going to go mate if you move your queen off of here, and if you move your queen off of here, I'll go mate. And it's mate in 3, so you'll have to give your queen away and I'll mate you. You agree? Easy?
Yeah. Kind of.
That was the easiest one. The other two you weren't solving. And I also gave you 40 hints. If you turn the engine on, the engine solves it in 1/10000000th of 1 second, because it's a mate in 3. Rook A2 is the only answer. And then hooray, and then other moves are made in 4 by moving the bishop when you play B3. Yeah. But this is zugzwang, and the reason it's not zugzwang is because black can play queen F4 if the rook is here, queen D6 if the rook is here, queen C7 if the rook is here, but there's nowhere to go here. You can't, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. If only there was more board. If the board was 10 by 10, then your queen could go to, something, A9, something.
A9.
Yeah. Yeah, queen A9 would be fine here, right?
How's he supposed to check it though?
Who's supposed to do what?
How's black supposed to check white?
Here?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to. He's
Yeah,
supposed to
that
lose.
rook A2 is the answer. Yeah,
Rook A9.
yeah, we solved it. So you're not supposed to, it's over. Huh. He gave the right move and he's still confused. You're the one who solved it. You said rook A2. Then I played rook A2 and you were right. And you're like, what? Yeah, why is rook A2 right? Yeah. And again, this is zugzwang. If it was white to move,
You're lost.
well, not lost. What would white do if it was white to move? Oh, he could play, what could he play?
What is that?
Rook
I
A4.
want to move my rook to one of these squares so I can threaten this mate.
But then he forks.
Yeah, even if I go here, you could play like queen E8, defending the mate. And if I take the queen, you get out. Yeah, I think white's got nothing here. White's winning, but he's not mate in 3. He's got nothing. but it's black's turn to move. And Zugzwang is a very common endgame theme. It's also common in your games in the endgame, except normally when you're a lower rated player like the four of you, you don't have endgames where it's close. You're like 7 pieces up by then, or 7 pieces down. Like when I was playing Sandeep, that ending wasn't interesting. I was up 1,000 pawns. Okay?
I think two.
And when I played some other guy, I was up, we had a queen and rook ending, but his king was walking up the board, so I was just mating him or winning his queen. But some end games are interesting, and you have to put the guy in Zugzwang because his position's perfect. But like here. But yeah, this is a nice, that's why it's a problem. Rook A2. Yeah, it's harsh. You just look at it until you solve it. You try to figure out what the idea is. The idea is you can mate the guy this way or this way, and the queen's defending them both. And if it's these two squares, you can't defend them both, except on B8, and the queen is on B8. And it's black's turn. Yeah, you all agree?
Ish.
Yeah, ish. What? Yeah. So that was a tough problem. That's why it's called tough. Yeah. What's good now about chess puzzles is when chess puzzles were invented 50, 100, 150, 200 years ago, sometimes they were wrong. Because they're like, oh yeah. But now they're not wrong because we turned the engine on. So if it's a mate in 3, there could be more than one answer. When I turn the engine on, it shows one answer. I'm like, okay, good, I was right. Yeah. So you can make problems yourselves at home. You can make chess problems. You can invent them. Then you can say, I wonder if I'm right. Turn on the engine. You have like a mate in 2 problem, and it says there's no mate in 2. And you're like, what? What about the mate in 2 I have? Then you make your move you think is mate in 2, and the computer refutes it, and you're like, oh. Or you think, mate in 3, I have a great problem. You turn the engine on, it says there's 5 mates in 2, and you're like, oh. And I do that with my advanced camps when I teach kids who are really good, over 2,000. I have them invent puzzles in class. And then I do too. Then we're done, we put them on the engine. And it's really funny sometimes. I'm like, well, your answer is wrong, here's another answer. Like it's mate in 3, and their answer is wrong. But there is a mate in 3 they didn't see. Or it says mate in 4, but there's a mate in 3. Or it says mate in 3, and there is no mate in 3, they didn't see a defense.
There's a mate.
And occasionally they're right, and their problem is silly. It's like, rook checkmate. I'm like, come on. Like your 2,000 rate, it's not a beginner's, like it's supposed to be a puzzle like this.
Like check rook.
Yeah. Now there's thousands of puzzles that are hard, and the people who invent them aren't Carlson and Kasparov, they're like you. So you can do it, you just don't do it. You can sit at home and find checkmates and go backwards and try to figure out how to make puzzles. Then your computer can help you. But you don't do that, you like to play Xbox.
Minecraft.
Yeah, I know Minecraft. I knew Minecraft before you were born, even though before you were born it didn't exist. Well, maybe it did. How old's Minecraft?
Nobody knows.
Because that's true.
Wait,
All right, good job. You guys are the best.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can I open the puzzle again?
Do this one? Yeah.
No, like go back to that
This is the
position.
puzzle. Yeah.
No, like go back to the position where
This?
And then if it's white circle, then why just play rook a7,
Which one?
the a1?
Yeah, I take it. I take the rook. I can't play rook a7 because it won't let me, but I can trick it. Watch how I trick it. Ah, stop making moves for me. Okay, I tricked it. Okay, rook a7. Is this my only move? I could play queen g8, right? No, queen g8, you take, oh yeah, queen g8, you take it, and then I play b3. Oh, b3 is so good. If I take your bishop, you mate me. So I go here and you can't mate me. Oh, snap. So queen g8 is good, but queen takes rook is, now you can't even win. Now it's a draw. You take my queen and still, you don't take my queen, you're down a queen. Yeah.
So if you take the queen still.
Yeah. Yeah, so rook a7, no.
No.
Bad.
Yeah, chess is hard.
Come out of the corner if you can.
All right, next class is at carry the 1, 3?
Carry the 1.
Yeah, it's a carry the 1, 3.